If you're an entrepreneur who is trying to build a more consistent income here in 2026, I want to reframe how you might be thinking about how you're going to go about achieving that goal. Because I've talked to quite a few business owners recently who were on the right track, they were doing all the right things, but they stopped doing those things right before they started working, and they would have achieved those predictable months that they were hoping for. So by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly where they went wrong and what you can do differently to make sure you are able to achieve more consistent income. And just to give a little more context on who I am and my current situation for the new faces who are out there, and also for the people who've been following me, friends and family, for a long time who just may not be fully familiar with this current situation that I am in. About 6 months ago, I quit my job to pursue this business. At the time, it was just kind of a rough idea. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help business owners, but I didn't know exactly how I was going to go about that. Didn't have an offer, didn't have an audience, really didn't have much of a plan at all. I moved to a whole new city and didn't have a safety net, which most people might say is crazy and not the smartest idea. And I might agree with you. There's been some stressful nights, but I've been able to implement systems into my business that has allowed me to generate more consistent income to where I'm not always worried about where the rent is going to come from, or and just not having to really be in desperation mode all the time. And I say that because I understand. I feel like, when I say building consistent income, I don't mean getting rich, having millions of dollars, more money than you know what to do with. I understand what it's like to have inconsistent income and being in situations where you have to make decisions out of desperation or make a lot of sacrifices in terms of your time, maybe with family, or just in the things that you want to do. Maybe you would like to take your business in a new direction, do some new marketing or branding, but you just don't have time to focus on that because you got to get more clients in. I understand what it's like, and building consistent income is the key to buying back more of that time, eliminating a ton of stress, and not having to make decisions out of desperation or super reactionary decisions, but you're able to kind of plan more for the future and to do the things that you really want to do. And as I was in this stage, moving to a new place, trying to build this business, the thing that I found was the only thing that was, that really worked, was posting content consistently. Because I believe that posting content consistently is one of the only things you can do to predictably generate consistent income, because that consistent content compounds. Now, I know that I'm a video guy, so you're probably thinking, oh great, this is another video person telling me I need to post 20 times a day. And I'm not even saying that you need to post video content. Whatever is sustainable for you. I do believe that posting video content is the most effective way to do this, and we'll talk about that later. But ultimately, as long as you're posting consistently, you're going to be able to predictably have those more consistent months in terms of income and bringing in new work. And here's how. If no one knows that you exist, they're not going to reach out and ask about your offer, ask for your product or your service. You need some sort of way to bring awareness to your business. And you could do this through ads or cold outreach. Ads is expensive, and if you're not bringing in consistent income, I know from experience, it's tempting, but you got to spend a lot of money to do that. Cold outreach is really slow, takes a whole lot of time and effort, and you may not even be reaching out to the right person who actually needs your product or service. But posting content is something that you can do it once, and people can view it and consume it at any point in time, even while you're sleeping. So it's working for you while you're working or doing other things just generally. And it's bringing in more awareness, especially if you do post video content. The social media platforms, the 10 years challenge, people posting photos from 2016 is popular right now. 10 years ago on Instagram, all you saw were, sunset photos with horrendous filters on top of them. You don't see that anymore on Instagram. Now it's only short form video content because everyone is competing with TikTok's algorithm. They all want your attention. They all want you on their platform. And when you post short form video content, Instagram is going to push that out for you, or Facebook, or YouTube, or TikTok, or pretty much anywhere you are trying to post content. Even LinkedIn now is experimenting with short form content. So when you post short form video content, that's going to enable you to fast track this whole process of building awareness, because these social media platforms are going to do it for you for free and pretty effectively. But if you only post once or twice, they don't know who to send that content to. But if you post consistently over the course of a month, 2 months, 3 months, it's going to start to learn who resonates with your content the most, who's interacting, who your audience actually is, who are the people who could actually use your product or service, and it's going to push your content out to those people who are actually interested and who are actually going to watch it. Once you have that awareness, you might recognize a face, but you're probably not just going to throw a bunch of money at some random person on the internet telling you about whatever, right? We live in a trust recession right now. It's never been easier to scam people. AI is everywhere now. Everyone's questioning every little thing that they see. And so what you need to do is you need to also create content that nurtures the people who you're bringing in through with all this awareness. You need to help them understand who you are, what you do, why you do it, and how specifically you can help them. And by doing that, you're going to become an authority figure in your niche. Whenever they think of, I need a realtor, you're probably going to be the first realtor that they go to, because you've already given them some advice, given them some great value-based content, and you've proven, that you know what you're talking about. Maybe you gave a piece of advice about the market, or about, how to clean up your house for photos. Now all of a sudden, they implement those tips, or they at least recognize, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. I didn't think about that. Maybe I should implement that into my process. You're going to be the first one that they go to, because you've already helped them. You've already proven that you know what you're talking about, because you do. You're an expert. And so posting that nurture content is going to turn that random stranger who's aware that you exist, and it's going to make them a raving fan, and it's going to make them actually want to talk to you more. And eventually, through enough awareness content and nurture content, they'll eventually come across a problem that you're able to solve with your product or service, and they're going to come to you first, and they're going to reach out and ask you to be the one who helps them solve that problem. But the only way to do that is through consistency. This isn't a quick fix or a quick thing that you can make happen, at least not normally. I've seen it happen pretty quickly for some people, but this is something where you have to play the long game, because it's a process, and ultimately you're almost building a relationship with these people. You're kind of at the point where you're building a parasocial relationship with someone. I think of like Taylor Swift, how Swifties they know just about everything about Taylor Swift, and a lot of them would probably say that they feel like they're really close friends with her because of everything they know. And that's kind of the point that you want your audience, your leads, to feel like with you. Maybe not quite as extreme as Swifties can be, but you want them to feel like you have a relationship, so that they can trust you, and that they want to work with you in the future. And when you start posting consistently, all of this compounds. You start posting awareness content, and that brings in your first batch of people. And you're also posting the nurture content, so you're nurturing that first batch. But at the same time, that same awareness content is bringing in a whole second batch of more people who are then going to see all that nurture content you've already created. And so you can create content once, and it's just constantly going to recycle. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, if you want to fast track this whole process, creating video content is the number one way to do it. Creating short form content, like I mentioned, is the perfect way to bring awareness and to bring people into your circle. And in terms of nurture content, you could do it through an email list, or just some long form post on Facebook, or you could create a long form video where they get to spend a little more time with you. They get to see you more in your natural element. see your face, hear your voice. Just video is the most effective form of communication, and you can communicate way more in a 5-10 minute video than you can in a 30-second reel. And so creating video content is easily the best way to fast track this whole process, but it still takes time. So that's why consistency is so important. Some people hear it takes time, so they post once a month, and then they wait 12 months and they say, well, this didn't work, I'm going to give up now. If you're posting consistently for 12 months, it is inevitable that you will have consistent income into your business here in 2026. Now I get it. You might be listening to this and thinking to yourself, that sounds great, Alex. I don't have time for all of that. You're saying that video is the fastest way to do that. I would like to bring in consistent income pretty quickly, but I don't know how to create video content like you do. I also don't really understand, I don't even know where to start. What kind of content would be valuable? What does short form or awareness content look like? What does nurture content look like? I think there's a million questions that come up when you're thinking through this whole process. And I know that because I went through it not that long ago. But if you'd like my help with that, in a couple of days from when I post this, I'm going to be launching something totally free to help people get started on this whole journey of posting consistently, so that you can take out a lot of the guesswork, or really take out all of the guesswork, and just have a very clear plan and strategy moving forward for how you can consistently post content, so you can bring in those consistent months into your business. Now, I'm not ready to launch it or announce it just yet. It's going to be a couple of days, but because this is a crazy, totally free offer, I only have a few people that I can give this to. So if you want to be on the wait list, so you're the first person to know about it, send me a DM, let me know that you watched this video, and I will let you know when I have that offer out and ready for you as soon as it is available. Thank you so much for taking the time to check this out, and I can't wait to see the content you start posting.